The silver ship landed on the wide green field outside the United Nations building in New York. It was much smaller than people expected from the movies. Everyone held their breath as the door opened with a soft hiss. This was the moment humanity had waited for. First contact with aliens. Commander Alex Winters stood at the front of the greeting party. His blue Navy uniform was perfectly pressed, and his face showed no fear. Inside, his heart beat fast. He was chosen because he stayed calm under pressure. Now, as the first aliens Earth had ever seen walk down the ramp, he needed that calm more than ever. The aliens were tall and thin with pale blue skin. They moved slowly and carefully. Their large eyes blinked in the bright sunlight. Alex counted 5 of them, each wearing what looked like flowing robes with strange symbols. "Welcome to Earth," Alex said with a small bow. "I am Commander Alex Winters." The lead alien made a sound like bells ringing. A small device on its chest lit up and spoke in perfect English. "We are the Valteri. I am Ambassador Zinthar. We bring greetings from the Galactic Consortium." Behind Alex, Dr. Lisa Hammond watched with wide eyes. As the top xenobiologist in North America, she had dreamed of this day. The aliens were nothing like she had imagined. They seemed nervous. The next few days were a blur of meetings. The Valteri explained that they represented a group of over 30 alien species who worked together. They had been watching Earth for decades and decided humans were ready to join them. Lisa was given access to the Valteri database to learn about alien biology. What she found confused her. "Commander, look at this," she said, showing Alex her tablet. They'd classified Earth as a death world, and humans as extreme endurance predators. That can't be right. Alex looked at the strange symbols and the translation. "What does that mean?" "It means they think we're dangerous," Lisa said. "Really dangerous." They found out what this meant at the first formal dinner. Alex reached for the salt, moving his arm quickly. Ambassador Zinthar jumped back so fast he knocked over his chair. The other Valteri made high-pitched sounds of alarm. "I'm sorry," Alex said, freezing in place. "Did I do something wrong?" The ambassador slowly stood up. "You moved very fast. Please warn us before making sudden movements." Alex was confused. He hadn't moved fast at all, at least not by human standards. Later that night, Lisa came to his room with more information. Their home world has lower gravity than ours. Their muscles are weaker. What's normal movement for us looks like super speed to them. "That explains why they walk so slowly," Alex said. "There's more," Lisa continued. "They can't handle our temperatures. Our air is too thick for them. And they think our food is poison. To them, Earth is a nightmare world, and we evolved to survive in it." The next day, a young Valteri scientist dropped a heavy data pad. Alex caught it before it hit the ground, moving on instinct. The scientist backed away in fear. "How did you move so quickly? And the weight of that device?" the alien asked, voice shaking. Alex looked at the pad in his hand. It wasn't heavy to him at all. "It's nothing," he said, trying to sound friendly. The scientist stared at him with those big eyes. "On my world, it would take 3 adults to lift that." As the week ended, world leaders met to discuss joining the Galactic Consortium. The aliens offered advanced technology and access to the stars. They seemed peaceful enough. The U.S. president said. Alex wasn't so sure. "Madam President, they're afraid of us. They flinch when we move. They watch us like we're dangerous animals." "Isn't that good?" asked the Secretary of Defense. "They won't try anything if they're scared." Lisa shook her head. "Fear makes people do strange things. The Valteri see us as creatures from a nightmare world. We need to be careful." As Alex watched the aliens return to their ship, he wondered what would happen when humans stepped out among the stars. One thing was clear. The galaxy wasn't ready for humans. 5 years had passed since the Valteri first landed on Earth. Humans now had a small colony on a planet called New Horizon, and were members of the Galactic Consortium. Ships went back and forth between Earth and alien worlds, carrying people and goods. Olivia Murphy stood at the controls of her cargo ship, the Star Trader. She was proud of her ship, even though it was small compared to others at the spaceport. Through the window, she watched alien workers move slowly around the dock, carrying light boxes one at a time. "Captain, all cargo is loaded," said Ben, her first mate. "We're ready to leave for the Zinthar trade hub." Olivia nodded. "Tell the crew to prepare for takeoff." Her crew was all human, 5 people total. They could run the ship with fewer crew members than any alien ship needed. Aliens always seemed surprised by this. As the Star Trader lifted off, Olivia thought about how strange the last 5 years had been. Humans quickly found their place in the galaxy, doing jobs that other species found too hard or too dangerous, and they got paid very well for it. The Zinthar trade hub was a busy place. Ships from 20 different worlds came to trade goods. The Star Trader docked, and Olivia went to meet her regular customer, a Zinthar merchant named Krell. Krell's skin was green and scaly. He blinked his 3 eyes when Olivia walked in faster than any alien would move. "Ah, the human arrives," Krell said, his translator making his hissing speech into English. "Always in a hurry." Olivia smiled. "Time is money, Krell. I have your shipment of Earth coffee." Aliens couldn't drink coffee. It was poison to them. But they used it in medicines and other products. Earth goods were in high demand. "Excellent," Krell said. "I have your payment ready, plus extra for bringing it so quickly." After the business was done, Krell invited Olivia for a meal. They sat in a part of the station made for many different species. "You know," Krell said, eating something that looked like blue jelly, "many species talk about humans now." Oh, Olivia was used to stares from aliens, but she didn't know they talked about humans. "Yes, they say humans are special. You come from a, what do they call it? A death world." "Earth isn't that bad," Olivia said. Krell made a strange noise that was his laugh. "To you, no, but your gravity would crush my bones. Your air would burn my lungs. And you are built to survive there." Olivia was about to answer when a small alien child ran into the room, laughing. Behind it came a human child, the son of another trader. They were playing chase. The alien adults in the room pressed themselves against the walls, making scared noises. The alien child seemed to enjoy the game, but the adults were terrified watching a human child run. To Olivia, the boy was moving slowly, carefully. To the aliens, he was a blur of speed and strength. Later, Olivia and her crew were relaxing in the human section of the station when alarms started ringing. "Pirates!" someone shouted. "They've boarded the East Dock." Security messages said 20 armed pirates from the Kreeth system had come to rob the station. The station's security forces were hiding. "They'll reach the civilian areas soon," Ben said. Olivia looked at her crew, 5 humans. She thought about all the scared aliens. "Let's go," she said, grabbing a metal pipe from a repair kit. The pirates had reptile-like faces and carried energy weapons. They were surprised when 5 humans walked toward them. "Leave this station," Olivia said clearly. The pirates laughed and pointed their weapons. But they weren't ready for how fast humans could move. Before they could fire, Olivia and her crew were among them. The fight lasted less than 5 minutes. The pirates couldn't match human speed and strength. When it was over, all 20 pirates were tied up or unconscious. The station security finally arrived. The alien captain stared at the humans and the defeated pirates. How did you defeat so many?" he asked. Olivia shrugged. "We're humans. This is what we do." Word spread quickly through the station and beyond. Humans had defeated 4 times their number without proper weapons. The story grew with each telling. By the time Olivia left the station, aliens were looking at her crew with even more fear and respect. "I think," Ben said as they prepared to leave, "we just made humans even more scary to them." Olivia watched an alien mother pull her child away as they passed. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Major Peter Collins stood straight as the alien general walked around him. The Consortium Defense Force uniform felt tight across his shoulders. He was one of 50 humans selected to join the galactic military, and the only one to reach officer rank so far. "You understand why human soldiers are kept in separate units?" asked General Vexkar. The general was tall with 4 arms and gray skin that looked like stone. "Yes, sir," Peter said, though he didn't agree with it. Humans had been in the consortium for 3 years now, but they were still treated differently. "Good. Your kind are." The general paused, looking for the right word, unpredictable. Peter followed the general through the space station that served as Consortium military headquarters. Other alien officers moved out of their way, staring at Peter with a mix of fear and curiosity. In the command center, screens showed maps of the galaxy. Red marks spread along the outer rim. "The Drachnid Imperium," General Vexkar pointed at the red areas. "They have attacked 3 Consortium worlds this month. They believe we are weak." Peter studied the maps. The Drachnid were a species no human had met yet. They lived far from Earth, but they were expanding quickly. "How do they fight?" Peter asked. "They use overwhelming force. They are not as physically strong as humans, but their technology is advanced. And they have numbers." Later that day, Peter watched human soldiers train. They ran faster, jumped higher, and fought harder than any other species in the consortium. In one exercise, humans practiced in a room with double Earth's gravity. They struggled but completed the course. No other species could even enter the room. That night, Peter couldn't sleep. He pulled up reports from the front lines. The consortium was losing ground. The Drachnid were pushing forward, and consortium forces were retreating. An idea formed in his mind. He waited until morning and requested a meeting with General Vexkar. "Sir, I have a suggestion," Peter said. "We should integrate human soldiers into regular units." The general's stone face showed surprise. "Put humans with other species? Impossible. Humans can handle conditions that would kill other soldiers. We can survive higher radiation, stronger gravity, and more extreme temperatures. We could be the backbone of each unit." The general shook his head. "Your kind move too quickly. You think differently. You are too aggressive." "Those are strengths in war," Peter argued. "The Drachnid don't know about humans yet. We would surprise them." "You would also terrify our own troops," the general said firmly. "The answer is no, Major Collins. Humans will remain in their own units, away from the front lines." Peter left the meeting frustrated. The consortium was afraid to use its best weapon, humans. 2 days later, alarms sounded throughout the station. A Drachnid scout ship had been spotted near a human colony world called Liberty. It was the first time they had come near human territory. In the command center, officers rushed around preparing defenses. Peter approached General Vexkar. "Sir, let me take a team to Liberty. My people are there." The general seemed concerned. "This may be just a test. The Drachnid probably don't know humans are different from other consortium species. All the more reason to show them," Peter said. After a long moment, the general nodded. "Take your human squad, Major. But observe only unless attacked. We don't want to start a larger conflict." Peter's team reached Liberty just as the Drachnid ship entered orbit. The colony was small, just 5,000 humans on a planet with higher gravity and oxygen than Earth. Conditions most aliens couldn't handle, but perfect for testing human adaptability. The Drachnid sent down a single shuttle. From his hidden position, Peter watched 10 soldiers step out. They were tall with red scales and moved with confidence. They clearly expected no resistance. The colony's small security force confronted them. Just 5 humans with basic weapons. The Drachnid laughed, a strange hissing sound. They pointed their advanced weapons, expecting the humans to surrender. Instead, the security team attacked. Peter watched in amazement as 5 humans tore through the Drachnid soldiers. The aliens had no chance. They tried to retreat, but humans were too fast. Within minutes, 9 Drachnid were down, and 1 escaped back to the shuttle. As the shuttle raced back to the main ship, Peter sent a message to headquarters. Drachnid engagement complete. They underestimated humans. They won't make that mistake again. General Vexcar's reply was simple. Perhaps it is time to reconsider your suggestion, Major Collins. Peter smiled. The galaxy was about to learn why humans were the apex predators. 3 months after the incident at Liberty Colony, the war with the Drachnid had grown worse. The consortium had lost 5 more worlds. Their ships retreated from battle after battle. The Drachnid pushed forward, getting closer to the core worlds every day. In a large meeting room on the consortium capital world, leaders argued about what to do next. General Vexcar stood before them, his stone-like face showing no emotion. "We have no choice," he said. "We must use our strongest weapon." The room went quiet. Everyone knew what he meant. "You want to send in the humans?" asked one leader, a small blue alien who floated above his chair. "Not just send them in," said the general. "Give them their own legion. Let them fight their way." Many voices rose in protest. Humans were too dangerous, too unpredictable. But 3 days later, the first human combat legion was formed. Sergeant Samantha Kelly was chosen to lead the first squad. Sam, as her friends called her, had been a Marine on Earth before joining the consortium forces. She was shorter than most soldiers but stronger than almost anyone. Her dark hair was cut short, and her eyes missed nothing. "Listen up," she told her squad of 12 humans. "We deploy to Drachnid front lines tomorrow. The aliens think we're like other consortium species. They don't know what humans can do yet." Her second-in-command, Corporal Gary Wilson, nodded. "Time to show them." The human ships landed on a world called Therion. It was a harsh planet with high gravity and toxic air. Most consortium species needed special suits just to survive there. Humans needed only breathing masks. The Drachnid had taken over Therion 2 weeks earlier. They had built a base in a deep valley surrounded by tall mountains. They thought they were safe. They were wrong. Sam's squad climbed the tallest mountain in 1 day, a task that would have taken other species a week if they could do it at all. From the top, they looked down at the Drachnid base. "They have no guards on the mountain paths," Gary said. "They don't think anyone can come this way." Sam smiled behind her mask. "Let's prove them wrong." That night, 12 humans moved down the mountain like shadows. They entered the base without being seen. The Drachnid had advanced weapons and technology, but they had never faced an enemy who could move so quietly, think so quickly, or fight so fiercely. The battle lasted 20 minutes. By the end, the Drachnid base was under human control, and Sam was sending a message to Consortium Command. "Therion base secured. Send the next target." Over the next month, the Human Combat Legion took back 3 worlds. They fought in conditions no other species could handle. They survived in the vacuum of space for short periods. They endured heat that would cook other species and cold that would freeze them. The Drachnid couldn't understand what was happening. They captured video of humans fighting. They studied it, trying to find a weakness. There seemed to be none. On the Drachnid command ship, Admiral Krasvor watched a recording of a human soldier running through fire to save a fallen comrade. "What are these creatures?" he asked his science officer. "They call themselves humans," the officer said. "They come from a high-gravity world with toxic levels of oxygen. Their bodies are dense with muscle and bone. They can break our strongest materials with their bare hands." The Admiral's scales darkened with fear. "Can they be killed?" "Yes, but it takes much more than it would to kill other species, and they keep fighting even when badly hurt." Another recording showed a human with a broken arm still fighting 3 Drachnid soldiers. The human won. Admiral Krasvor made a decision. "Pull our forces back from all worlds where humans have been seen. We need a new strategy. For the first time since the war began, the Drachnid retreated. On Therion, Sam got the news of the Drachnid withdrawal. Her squad cheered, but she remained quiet. "What's wrong?" Gary asked. "We won." Sam shook her head. "They're not giving up. They're just changing plans. Now they know what we are." "And what are we?" asked a young soldier. Sam looked at her squad, humans who had done the impossible over and over. "We're the apex predators of the galaxy," she said, and they just realized it. Dr. Nathan Parker stood in the alien market, listening to the sounds around him. He understood 6 alien languages now, and he was trying to learn a 7th. As a xenoanthropologist, his job was to study alien cultures. But lately he had been studying something stranger, how aliens saw humans. Nathan walked past a group of small purple aliens called the Myth. They moved away quickly, their large eyes watching him with fear. He was used to this now. Most aliens acted this way around humans. He stopped at a stall selling drinks and bought one safe for humans. The seller's hand shook as she took his money. "Thank you," Nathan said with a smile, trying to seem friendly. The alien just nodded and looked down. Nathan sighed and walked on. It had been 2 years since humans joined the consortium, and things were getting worse, not better. In a quiet corner of the market, Nathan met his friend Ziv, one of the few aliens who wasn't afraid of humans. Ziv was a Volteri scholar who studied stories and myths. "I found something interesting," Ziv said, his translator making his bell-like language into English. "Listen to this." Ziv played a recording of an alien mother talking to her child. Nathan understood enough to follow along. The mother was saying, "Be good or the humans will get you. They're using us as monsters in bedtime stories." Nathan asked, surprised. Ziv nodded. "It's happening on many worlds now. Humans are becoming, what's your word? Boogeyman." Nathan had collected hundreds of stories like this. In some, humans were monsters who ate bad children. In others, humans were giants who could crush buildings. None were true, but all showed how afraid aliens were. "It's getting worse since the war," Ziv said. "Everyone has seen videos of human soldiers fighting the Drachnid. The Human Combat Legion had won many battles in the past year. They had pushed the Drachnid back to their own territory. Humans were heroes to the consortium, but also objects of terror." The next day, Nathan went to meet representatives from the Drachnid who had asked to speak with a human scientist. It was unusual. The Drachnid rarely talked to enemies. The meeting was held on a neutral space station. The Drachnid were tall with red scales and yellow eyes. They watched Nathan carefully as he entered the room. "Thank you for meeting with us," said the lead Drachnid, whose name was Scar. "We wish to understand something." "I'm happy to help," Nathan said, sitting down across from them. "Why did your people attack us?" Scar asked. "We never threatened Earth." Nathan was confused. "You attacked consortium worlds. We are part of the consortium." The Drachnid looked at each other. "We were told humans were kept as slaves or pets by the consortium. That the stories of human strength were just propaganda." Nathan laughed, then stopped when he saw they were serious. "Who told you this?" "Consortium diplomats, years ago. They said humans were weak creatures from a soft world." Now Nathan understood. Before humans joined the consortium, some aliens had tried to keep humans isolated. They had lied to the Drachnid, hoping to keep humans and Drachnid apart. Instead, they had started a war. As Nathan left the meeting, his communicator beeped. It was a news alert about an attack on a human colony, but not by the Drachnid. The attackers called themselves the Purity Front, a group of consortium extremists. Their message was being broadcast across all channels. Humans are too dangerous to be allowed among the stars. They must be contained before they spread. Nathan watched the recording of masked aliens planting bombs in a human school. 6 children had died. Many more were hurt. He called Ziv right away. "Did you see the news?" "Yes." Ziv sounded sad. "This is what I feared. Fear leads to hate. What can we do? Nathan asked. We must show them the truth, Ziv said. Humans are not monsters. But as Nathan looked at the images of the destroyed school, he wondered if it was too late. The story of humans as dangerous predators had spread too far. Now, some aliens saw only one solution: get rid of the predators before they became the prey. Nathan knew humans weren't the monsters here, but he also knew that frightened people, human or alien, could do terrible things. The real fight wasn't against the Drachnid. It was against fear itself. Julia Martinez walked into the Great Hall of the Consortium High Council. The room was huge, with seats for representatives from all 32 member species. As Earth's chief diplomat, Julia had the hardest job in human space, making aliens feel safe around humans. Today would be especially difficult. The attack on the human school that happened just 2 weeks ago. 6 children dead. The Purity Front had struck twice more since then. Humans were angry. Some wanted to leave the consortium. Others wanted revenge. Julia took her seat, aware of the empty chairs around her. No other representatives wanted to sit near the human. This meeting will come to order, announced the council leader, a tall blue Valtteri. The first item was a new law proposed by the Grenfell delegation. It would limit how many humans could live on any non-Earth world. It would also restrict human reproduction in space. Julia listened as the Grenfell speaker listed reasons why humans needed to be controlled. They are too strong, too aggressive, too unpredictable. For the safety of all, their numbers must be limited. When it was her turn to speak, Julia stood calmly. She had practiced this moment for days. Members of the council, she began. I understand your fears. Humans are different from you. We evolved on a world that would kill most of you in minutes. Our bodies are stronger because they had to be. She paused, looking around the room. But strength isn't the same as violence. Being able to hurt doesn't mean wanting to hurt. Since joining the consortium, humans have used their abilities to help, not harm. Several representatives shifted uncomfortably. They couldn't deny this truth. Human ships had rescued aliens from disasters. Human doctors had saved alien lives with their steady hands and quick thinking. The Purity Front attacked innocent children. Julia continued. They claim humans are dangerous predators who must be contained. If you pass this law, you show that you agree with terrorists. The room erupted in angry shouts. The council leader called for order. As the debate continued, Julia received a message on her pad. It was from her assistant, showing a recording she had found. Julia watched it quickly, her face growing hard. When the room quieted, Julia stood again. I have something to show you. On the large screen at the front of the hall, she played the recording. It showed 3 council members, including the Grenfell who had proposed the new law, meeting in secret. Once we contain the humans, the Grenfell was saying, we can begin to reduce their numbers. Within a few generations, they will be a minor species, easily controlled. Another voice asked, what about the Drachnid War? We need human soldiers. For now, yes. But after the war, we won't need their strength. We can keep a few as workers or fighters, but most should be eliminated. The recording ended. The room was completely silent. This isn't about safety, Julia said softly. It's about fear and control. You don't want to contain us because we're dangerous. You want to contain us because we're powerful. The Grenfell representative stood up, his scales flushed with anger. Humans don't belong among civilized species. You're animals, predators. Julia nodded slowly. Yes, by your standards, we are predators. We evolved to hunt, to survive, to protect our own. But we also evolved to build, to create, to explore, to form communities and help others. She looked around the room. You fear what we could do if we wanted to hurt you. Instead, you should value what we can do because we want to help you. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the building. Security officers rushed into the hall. The Drachnid have broken through our defenses, one shouted. They're attacking the capital. As panic spread through the council, Julia received another message. Someone had disabled the planetary shields. It was the work of the Purity Front. They had let the Drachnid in, hoping they would destroy the humans. Julia stood tall among the frightened aliens. How quickly, she thought, they forget who the real predators are. She grabbed her communicator. This is Ambassador Martinez. I need all human military personnel to report for emergency action. The capital is under attack. As the aliens looked at her in surprise, Julia smiled grimly. Don't worry. The predators are on your side. Admiral Ryan Foster stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Earth Force One. Around him, human crew members worked quickly at their stations. Outside the view screen, he could see the battle for the consortium capital world. It wasn't going well. The Drachnid had brought 100 ships. The consortium fleet was breaking apart under their attack. Only the human ships still fought in formation. Admiral, his communications officer called. We're receiving strange readings from Alpha Colony. They've gone silent. Ryan frowned. Alpha Colony was one of the first human settlements outside the solar system. It had a population of 20,000 people. Get me a direct channel, he ordered. Minutes passed with no answer. Then reports came in from Beta Colony, then Gamma, then New Horizon. One by one, human colonies stopped responding. What's happening? Ryan asked his science officer. Unknown, sir, but the pattern suggests a coordinated attack. Before Ryan could respond, a message came in from Earth Force Command. The face of General Diaz appeared on screen, looking grim. Admiral, we have confirmation. The Drachnid have deployed biological weapons against all human worlds. They're specifically designed to target human biology. Ryan felt cold. Casualties. Unknown. Communications are down. But initial reports suggest. The general paused. It's bad, Ryan. As the Admiral processed this news, another call came in. It was Julia Martinez, calling from the consortium capital. Admiral, the city is overrun, she said, her face dirty and a cut visible on her forehead. The Drachnid are everywhere. But I've discovered something. The Purity Front provided them with human biological data. They helped create the bioweapons. Ryan's hands tightened into fists. Some of the very aliens humans had been protecting had betrayed them in the worst way possible. Get to safety, Ambassador. We're coming. As Julia's face disappeared from the screen, Ryan made a decision. He opened a channel to all human ships. This is Admiral Foster. The Drachnid have used bioweapons against our colonies. They got help from within the consortium. As of now, I'm assuming command of all human military forces. Our mission is to save the capital, then find a cure for our people. His next call was to the consortium high command. When the alien admiral appeared, Ryan didn't wait for pleasantries. I'm taking control of this battle. You will follow my orders, or we leave and you can face the Drachnid alone. The alien started to protest, but Ryan cut him off. Your people helped the enemy target mine. Right now, I don't care about your rules or your chain of command. I care about saving lives. After a moment, the alien nodded. What are your orders, Admiral Foster? Ryan outlined his plan quickly. It was bold, even reckless by consortium standards. No alien commander would have considered it. But humans thought differently. They took risks. They did what others considered impossible. The human fleet moved into position, with the remaining consortium ships following their lead. Instead of fighting defensively, they charged directly at the center of the Drachnid formation. The Drachnid, expecting a retreat, were caught off guard. The human ships fired all weapons as they passed through the enemy line, causing chaos and confusion. Now, Ryan ordered. At his command, the human ships released thousands of small pods. Each contained a team of human soldiers in combat armor. They landed on Drachnid ships, cutting their way inside to fight the enemy directly. No other species would have attempted to board enemy vessels in the middle of a space battle. The Drachnid had no defense against such tactics because they had never imagined anyone would try. As reports of captured Drachnid ships came in, Ryan turned to his science officer. "I want their data. Everything they have on the bioweapons. We need to find a cure." Within hours, human scientists were working with the captured information. They discovered the bioweapons had been designed based on detailed human medical data provided by the Purity Front. "We can create an antidote," the lead scientist told Ryan. "But we need to test it first. Someone must volunteer." Ryan rolled up his sleeve. "Start with me." As the scientist prepared the injection, Ryan looked out at the stars. The Drachnid had learned a painful lesson today. They thought targeting human colonies would weaken humanity's resolve. Instead, it had unleashed the full fury of the galaxy's apex predators. And now, they would pay the price. 10 years had passed since first contact. Earth now had colonies on 20 worlds. Humans served on every level of the consortium, from science teams to military units. But most importantly, humans had proven themselves irreplaceable. Captain Eric Daniels stood on the bridge of the U.S. Intrepid, the first starship built with human design. It was smaller than most consortium vessels, but faster and more adaptable, like humans themselves. "Status report," Eric said, looking at his mixed crew of humans and aliens. "All systems ready, Captain," replied his first officer, a Volteri named Zen who had overcome his fear of humans years ago. "The Drachnid fleet has been spotted near Sirius." Eric nodded. This would be the final battle of the war. After their failed attack on the consortium capital and the defeat of their bioweapon, the Drachnid had retreated to their home systems. But now they had gathered for one last desperate attack. "All ships, move into Formation Alpha," Eric ordered. The human-led fleet responded immediately, taking positions that no alien commander would have chosen. Conventional wisdom said to keep ships in tight, defensive groups. Humans had learned on Earth's oceans that sometimes spreading out and attacking from multiple angles worked better. The consortium had been shocked when Eric first suggested this tactic, but they couldn't argue with success. The Drachnid fleet appeared on their sensors, 100 ships strong, moving toward the human colony in the Sirius system. "They're expecting us to defend the colony directly," Eric said. "Instead, we'll let them think they've gotten past us." It was a risky plan. The colony had been evacuated, but letting the enemy get so close went against every consortium military rule. Only a human would suggest using a world as bait. As the Drachnid fleet approached Sirius, they didn't notice the human ships hiding behind moons and in the shadow of planets. When they moved into orbit, thinking they had won, Eric gave the order. "All ships, attack now." The human fleet struck from all directions at once. The Drachnid, caught in the gravity well of the planet, couldn't maneuver effectively. They tried to fight back, but human ships darted in and out too quickly. On the Intrepid, alarms suddenly blared. "Captain, the Drachnid flagship is preparing to use a planet-killer weapon," called out the sensor officer. Eric knew what had to be done. "Set collision course." Zen looked at him in shock. "Captain, that's suicide." "Not necessarily," Eric said with a smile. "Prepare emergency pods for the crew. I'm staying aboard." Despite protests, Eric ordered his crew to evacuate. Once they were safely away, he piloted the Intrepid directly toward the Drachnid flagship. "This is Captain Eric Daniels," he broadcast on all channels. "I suggest you surrender now." The Drachnid commander appeared on screen, his red scales shining under the lights of his bridge. "One ship cannot stop us, human." "You still don't understand what humans are, do you?" Eric said. "We evolved to run toward danger to protect others. We're not just predators. We're guardians." With that, Eric activated the Intrepid's experimental drive, pushing it beyond safe limits. The ship shot forward at impossible speed, straight toward the Drachnid vessel. At the last second, Eric veered away, but not before the Intrepid's special cutting beam sliced through the weapon systems of the Drachnid ship. The planet killer exploded, crippling the flagship but leaving it intact. Emergency systems saved Eric, though the Intrepid was severely damaged. As he floated in his half-destroyed bridge, watching the Drachnid fleet surrender, he felt a sense of completion. 3 days later, Eric stood in the Great Hall of the Consortium Council. The room was packed with representatives from all species. For the first time, none of the seats around the human section were empty. The council leader, a new Volteri who had fought alongside humans, stood to address the gathering. "Today, we create a new classification in our records," he announced. "Humans will no longer be labeled simply as Death World Predators. From this day forward, they will be known as Guardian Predators, the protectors of the consortium." As the hall erupted in cheers, Eric looked at the other humans present: soldiers, scientists, diplomats, traders. They had all played a part in changing how the galaxy saw humanity. Later that day, Eric visited a school on the consortium capital. Alien children were playing in the yard. He watched in amazement as they played a game called Humans and Monsters. But in their game, the humans were the heroes who saved everyone from the monsters. "It seems we've come a long way," said Julia Martinez, who stood beside him. Eric nodded, looking up at the stars appearing in the evening sky. From feared predators to respected guardians. Not bad for 10 years. A small alien child approached them, looking up with large eyes no longer filled with fear. "Is it true you can lift a car?" she asked Eric. He laughed. "Well, not by myself. But humans are strong, yes. When I grow up," the child said, "I want to work with humans. You make everyone safer." As the child ran back to her friends, Eric smiled. The galaxy had finally learned that being an apex predator didn't have to mean being a monster. Sometimes, the most dangerous creature could also be the best protector. And humanity had found its place among the stars.